Yeah, so Jared. Jared.
You may know him, tall guy.
Yeah, we just saw him.
Broken arm.
He dislocated his right shoulder. I'm not supposed to have these stories. So we're in the green room. Okay. We're in the green room, and everyone's kind of chilling on the couch. We're all just kind of waiting to come up on stage to the footlots, and Jared's, we're all a little bit bored, and Jared's bored, and he's like, all right, who wants to wrestle? And
famous last word.
And I'm bored, and I think Matt was gonna say yes. I'm like, for me, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, of course, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I thought he was, I kind of thought he was joking, I wasn't sure. And then, Jared comes in with his big smile. He's like, like that big teddy bear thing that he does. I'm like, oh, we're gonna go to somewhere with more room, right? Because there's the couch and a big marble table there.
Safety first. That's what you were thinking.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, this isn't even a flat surface. But he comes at you.
Not even kinda. There's a couch and a coffee table a half a foot away with bottles and glasses and plates and things This is not the #1 place to wrestle.
Definitely wasn't, but once Jared starts coming at you, you really don't have a choice. Because he's a really big guy.
Hey, you want to wrestle?
Sure.
Hey, you want to wrestle down there?
Yeah, I'll wrestle.
All right.
So, Jared's strong. Don't get me wrong, he's strong. If he asked me to do any striking, I probably wouldn't. I'm like, okay, unless we're just half speed, no light contact. Because, even his hand is the size of my head. So if he asked me to strike, no. But he's not much, he's not a grappler, he doesn't come from he's got tight holds and stuff, and he's, again, really strong.
Bear of strength.
Yeah, really. Kind of feels like a bear, but I'm like, yeah, I'd like to kind of see how it is. So, anyways, he's coming at me, and he kind of gets me in this front choke, and he's trying to choke me out. I'm like, oh, this got really fast. I'm not, Thai is a trained jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, what else?
MMA, little jiu-jitsu,
MMA. It's a lot of stuff. And for me, I've done wushu, which is it's considered more of a dance than a martial art. It's a performance thing. I'm like, okay, I've kind of dabbled in it. So he comes at me, and so the first thing I'd be like, okay, gotta breathe. And slowly he's giving me room, so I'm just kind of playing. I flip him around onto the couch. I'm on top of him. Before you know it, I have him in a good, lock, good position. And so I have him in this headlock, and I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna flip me over with one arm because he's strong enough to do that. So, hooking my legs. So I'm like a backpack at this point. And I'm holding him.
But smaller.
Kind of, right? So I'm choking him, and
They're like one of those little backpacks that girls wear. Those it's because it's Jared, right? I'm not saying anything like you.
Yeah.
You look like a little Hello Kitty doll in the back.
And so at this point, Ty walks over, and he's telling Jared, he's like, okay, you should do this. He's just kind of walking Jared through. So I'm just waiting. I'm like, okay, I'm like, all right, now it's becoming a instructional jiu-jitsu thing. But Jared's also very competitive.
Yes.
And this it scared me just for a second.
See it in his eyes, that moment of oh shit, I'm not gonna get caught in this by the little guy.
I could not see it in his eyes, but I'm like, okay. If it was any other person, I'd just choke up a little bit, and usually they tap. Not Jared. So I'm waiting, and then I see he starts to stand up. I'm like, oh God. So I'm like, all right, let's finish it. Nope. Right away he starts doing this, and I'm like, way the hell up here. I see my head going down, like, oh, the floor is coming. It was under the table, the couch, or the floor, but at least he didn't go there, because if he went that way, I would have just let go, and then it would have been really messy. So he basically tries to pile drive me into the floor, and I see the floor coming, and I kind of tuck my head away at the last moment, and then we go down, and then basically I'm lying on top of him after, there's a quick roll. I'm top of him, and I'm choking him out, and then I see him tap, and he's like, I think I dislocated my shoulder. And I'm like,
And it was
yeah.
kind of fun the way he did it, because he was just kind of stone-faced.
I couldn't tell if he was joking. I can never tell if he's joking.
Oh, I know.
Until his face kind of started
Yeah.
getting really pale, and then he just sat down like this. I'm like, oh.
So we have renamed our friend here to Master Chau. We've all been like walking into the room, we've got a bow when we enter. Master Chau. The first thing I said, we didn't even realize how much Jared had injured his shoulder, and I was like, having a coffee going, thank God it's not, because I know I'm next. I'm not in the mood for this shit.
Yeah. But what happened was he actually, going to the floor, he actually caught his elbow here, and then popped his shoulder up. Right? So I was like, because he was trying to grab on, he was trying to rip my arm away from his neck, and then just like, it didn't pop that much off. It was just a little bit, you know.
Just a little dislocated. Just a little bit.
Right, so Cliff came over, he's like, oh, yeah, it's out. And he just like pushed it back in. It's like, which wasn't so bad, right?
The good news is, considering the granite coffee table and the glasses and the plates and the forks and all the stuff that was there, it's really probably the least of the injuries that we could have.
Probably.
Because if Jared had actually landed that, this is like concrete under here, folks. This isn't padded. There's like cheap industrial carpet about that thick. And if he had landed that and not slowed down on the couch, we would have been putting you in a
pretty much. I thought my head was gonna go onto the pole. I mean, I turned at the last second. It was very close.
But I also want to say, Master Chau, if I may, Master Chau could have let go. He could have let go at that point. He's like, I know I'm going over. You could have. You could have went, I'm going to let go. No. That's when you guys have heard us talk about how this show is filled with alpha males, right? Which is a unique thing. Like, it's normally these kind of people butt heads. We just wrestle a little bit. But it's like, under any other circumstances, both you little alpha males could have went, I'm going to stop this. This has gone far enough. Nope, I'm holding this right down. I'm taking this moose right to the ground.
If you went for the table, I would have let go. But